Hello and welcome to the Watch Kaki channel where we bring you all the good and honest watch reviews. If you haven't done so, please, I'd like to remind you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button because your support means a lot to me. Thank you very much. In today's video, we are going to do a full review of this Seiko 5 Sport, the entire new Seiko 5 Sport series, SRPG series. They will launch sometime in early 2021, and this series I would say sort of replaces the two outgoing series, namely the SNZG and SNK series. So those were field watches, very affordable, slightly on the smaller side of things, not too big and not too heavy. And I would say the new SRPG series for field watches, they sort of sit right in the middle in terms of dimensions. So we're going to look more into the details later on in this review. When they were launched, I think at the time of launch there were like so many different colorways. We have the black one, the blue, the green, there should be a gray one, and they all came in various combinations of strap and bracelet version. So same again like the Dress KX series, there's some differences between the bracelet and the strap version. So I think for the strap versions, the finish on the case, I think they're more like a bead blasted finish, but this one here, being on the bracelet, it sort of follows the polish and brush finishing and sort of gives it a bit more of a dressier feel. And the exact watch reference in review today, this is the SRPG29K1, and this watch is on loan from our boutique. And I'd like to take the time to thank Eric and his crew at our boutique for so generously loaning me all these watches for my reviews. Thank you very much. So let's zoom in a little bit as I start by talking about the specifications, the dimensions and all that. So the case size here is a really comfortable 39.3 millimeters. So like I said, it sits right in between the SNK 809 and SNZG 13. Now these two watches, they are like 37 and 42 millimeters, and this one here right smack in the middle at 39.3 millimeters. Now thickness here, if we take the measurement from the base of the case back, which is an exhibition case back, to the top of the high dome crystal, alright, so this is a hardlex. So the measurement from the case back to the top of the dome crystal is 13.4 millimeters. The new Seiko 5 Field Watch also has a very familiar 20mm lug width, so I'm pretty sure this one will be a strap monster because it also has drilled through lug, so strap change shouldn't be an issue. So for a slightly smaller watch at 39mm case size, this one here's got a slightly longer lug to lug, so it is at 47.8mm. Some other dimensions not listed on Seiko's official website. So it's got a bezel size of 37.7mm, so there's a bit of a allowance here. So from the case, you will see that there's a step here, and the bezel is actually much smaller at 37.7, and crystal size here is about 32mm. And finally, we have a really nice crown here. Alright, this one here is nicely sized at 6.5mm. The right amount of thickness here, very grippy, and I dare say the finishing here on the crown here is also very nice. So on my digital weighing scale, this one here comes in at 146.5 grams, and this is a brand new watch, so unsized, full links on bracelet, and I would think that it's not on the heavier side of things. As can be seen here, this is a non-solid bracelet, hollow end links, stamped clasp and all that, so I think it's not going to feel very heavy once it is nicely sized up. Powering the new Seiko 5 Field Watch here, as with all the new Seiko 5 Sport series, this one here is upgraded to the 4R36 movement, so no more 7S series where you don't get hacking and hand winding. So this is on par with all the Turtles and the cheaper range of tuners, NH36, 4R36 series, where you get the day-date complication. At the time of this review, the entire SRPG Field Watch series, I think they have a street price of around 250 Singapore dollars all year round, I think, depending on which vendor you go to, or if you have any coupons, vouchers or anything like that. So of course you can get this one from our boutique, and I'm pretty sure Eric will be able to give you a really nice price. So So with all the facts and figures out of the way, let's just move on now and talk about the case design and build quality of the SRPG29K1, the new Seiko 5 Field Watch. And I must say this one here looks really handsome, okay? All year round, this one costs around 250 Singapore dollars, way under 300 Singapore dollars, and I dare say you're getting a really nicely made watch for the money. This is an all stainless steel case comprising of polish and brush finishes. So if you look at the watch from the top or face on, you will see that everything here is brush finish, okay? You've got radial brushing on the lugs here, top of lugs, as well as the bezel, and they've also left the case sides polished. Alright, so as are the sides of the bracelet. Okay, so the case sides of the bracelet links here, they are polished, but the rest of the watch done in a brush finish, and I think this one here really looks very sharp, very classy. Alright, so it looks way more expensive than the sub $300 price point. The overall finishing on this watch is very decent. Alright, so I wouldn't say it is excellent. Okay, this is still a Seiko 5, still very entry level, so I'm not saying you're getting Sarasu polishing or anything like that. You're not getting fancy bevels and all that, but attention has been paid to the insides or the sides of the case here, so no sharp edges. Alright, so nothing like that. So I would say it's a pretty good finishing at this price. And the push-pull crown here is really nicely executed, so I really love the finishing here. Okay, the brushing or the satin finishing here is really nice, and again, the winding, time setting, everything is just really smooth. The bracelet here though is a very standard low-end Seiko affair, so you don't have a solid bracelet obviously. Okay, so none of this bracelet is solid. This is not a solid link. There is a joint line here. Okay, and if you look at it close up, there's a joint line, and this is a sign that it is a folded link or a pressed link or something like that. So also here we've got folded end links, and the entire clasp here is folded as well, stamped, folded, and none of it is solid, but I would say it does its job well at this price point. And I must also bring to your attention the lack of micro adjusts on this watch here. So just take a look at the buckle here. It's got only 2 dots. Okay, and I don't think that is enough for a good adjustment or a good sizing on the bracelet. And let's move on now and talk about the overall dial design. So I must say this one here does appear to be a more grown-up version, okay, a more matured version of the SNK and the SNZG, because you've got plenty of upgrades that you can see on this watch here, namely the beautiful sunburst dial here. Alright, this is in blue. The 29 is blue. I think the 27 is a black or anthracite dial version. So as I move the watch head here, you can see this beautiful light play going on, and I definitely think this is an upgrade. And also we've got really nice details like applied markers, applied logo. The Seiko logo here is applied markers and indexes and all. Also interesting to note that all these prints on the dial here, alright, the 24-hour time scale, the words, the Superman 5 logo, automatic, and even the minute markers, alright, the minute hash marks, they're all done in silver. Okay, so again, at first glance, you would think, okay, it's done in white, but it is actually done in silver, and it matches the applied indices very well. Alright, so the entire dial here just looks very sharp with the blue sunburst and with all these silver chrome accents going on. The handset here is really simple. We've got really clean looking pencil hands with a leather step on the hour hand, so I really appreciate keeping things simple here, and a little splash of color on the tip of the seconds hand here, sort of round things up a little bit. So really good effort here by Seiko. So on a whole, I would say the whole dial design here, it is really well proportioned. Alright, so the numerals here, the contrast in size, I think is really good here. all right, the outer 12-hour markers and the inner 24-hour time zone scale. Everything is scaled very nicely, well proportioned, and it certainly doesn't look or feel overly cluttered. So that is one of the main concerns when we look at military or field watches. We always think that okay, with all the prints and the two time scales, it's going to look really cluttered, and this one here does have a dated complication, but I've spent some time with this watch, look at it from different angles, and I really feel that, you know, cluttering here is a non-issue on the new SRPG Seiko 5. The new Seiko 5 Field Watch does have lume on its hands and the hour marker, so let me just switch off the lights here and let's just check out the lume. And boom, alright, here you go. So as you can see, Seiko lume never disappoints. So despite not being a diver watch and all that, you can see how bright the lume is. Alright, so small little lume plots, but the intensity of the lume is just there. So Seiko Lumi Bright, you know, it's just the best out there. And welcome back to the studio, where I'll show you a staged wrist shot here. Alright, so you can see this watch here, the Seiko 5 new sports version. It is not too big, 39.3 millimeters, hardly any lug overhang or lug gaps here. So overall, I would say if you size it up nicely, it's going to wear really well with straps, NATOs, rubber strap, leather strap, even on the stock bracelet. Right, so the only concern here I've got is that I feel that the watch here is a little bit top heavy. For a watch that is about 39 millimeters case size, I think 13.4, 13.5 millimeters is just a little bit too thick. And now we're going to do a quick size comparison between the Seiko 5 Sports and my Zin 556i. So I always rate these watches in the same category, the sort of a Gada, you know, one size fits all kind of watch. Alright, so as you can see, they're not that different. Alright, the Seiko here being just that bit bigger at 39.3, the Zin is 38.5. In terms of thickness though, I think owing to the dome crystal, the Seiko 5 does appear to be a bit thicker. So to sum up, I would say the new Seiko 5 range, I think they've got all the ingredients, alright, that make a great budget everyday kind of watch. Field watch design, and this one here has got a really nice bracelet, overall nice finish. But since no watch is perfect, I'd like to share with you some of the reasons why I think I'm really underwhelmed by this whole entire SRPG series. Alright, so there are two main reasons why I don't resonate well with this watch. Alright, so in other words, I just don't feel, alright, this entire series here. Okay, so I know, you know, I'm very long-winded. I just said that everything just points to a great watch. Alright, good size, good build, even the price is really good, but I really don't feel the watch. Alright, it is not something that I would buy. Alright, so I'm going to share with you two main reasons. First, alright, so this watch, I do feel that it is overly thick. Okay, so at 13.4 millimeters, I think this is like going into diver watch territory. Alright, so the turtles, the samurais, they're also about there, 13.5, 13.6 thick, and I don't see any reason why this watch should be so thick. Okay, so obviously it is due to the dome crystal. Okay, so the other reason could be because of this really tall bezel. Alright, so the bezel here is about 3 millimeters tall. Okay, so I don't know which is which. It's a bit like a chicken and egg kind of thing. So which came first? Did they have to have a tall bezel to accommodate this bubble glass here, or was it the other way around? Okay, so overall I think, alright, this thickness here sort of ruins it. Okay, it's not suitable for an everyday kind of watch. And speaking of bubble glass or high dome crystals, alright, so I'm going to bring to you the second reason why I don't really enjoy this watch. Okay, so obviously this one here is due to the distortion here, alright, the crazy distortion here due to the dome crystal. Okay, so I know plenty of watch fans out there are into such things. Okay, so just bear with me as I bring it in closer and I show you what I'm talking about, this weird effect going on. Alright, I think it's highly unnecessary for a watch like this. Okay, so this is a field watch in name, but we all know what this is good for. It is good for everyday wearing, very versatile and all. and I don't think you would want something like this. Okay, so distortion here just makes time reading rather unpleasant here. So there you have it. That was my full review of the new Seiko 5 Field Watch series, the SRPG series. I would say it's a really well built watch, really good. The price is nice, watch design is nice, lovely, sunburst style and all that, but overall I just don't get that bubble glass or high dome crystal. So I measured without the crystal, this watch is only about 11.8 millimeters thickness. So if only they would put a flat crystal on it, I think this watch would appear nicer and sit well with more watch fans out there. Until the next video, this is the Watch Kaki from Singapore. We've got George here, my co-reviewer. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.